Starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Sharon Min Chow. The January 6th Capitol riot hearings start now, as will CBS's special report on air. Your new news continues online. Today marks 4 weeks since the school shooting in Uvalde. 19 students and 2 teachers were killed at Robb Elementary. The Texas House Committee investigating that shooting now meeting behind closed doors with embattled Uvalde CISD Police Chief Pete Arredondo. In a condensed timeline by Texas DPS, despite some changing narratives, Chief Arredondo told his police officers to wait while he asked for room keys and a breaching tool. Records and surveillance video also shows the police force with shields and long guns waiting outside the classrooms where the gunman shot and killed his victims. The 1 hour and 14-minute incident is reigniting the push for transparency. Again, that testimony with Arredondo is happening in executive session. Plus, in the Texas Senate, State DPS Director Steve McGraw testifying that Arredondo decided to put the lives of officers ahead of the lives of children. He said that the massacre could have been stopped in 3 minutes.
There's compelling evidence that the law enforcement response to the attack at Robb Elementary was an abject failure and antithetical to everything we've learned over the last 2 decades since the Columbine massacre.
McGraw says that the teachers worked quickly to lock the school down and save lives, adding they should be praised for their actions, not law enforcement. And we are now taking a live look from inside the Texas Senate. It appears that lawmakers are asking questions of their witnesses. You know, among the things they are likely talking about today are some new photos from Robb Elementary, unleashing still more questions about law enforcement response. Let's take a look at those pictures. The photos, obtained by Tony Piletsky with the Austin American Statesman and our sister station KVUE in Austin, shows the scene in the school's hallway at 11:52 a.m. That's about 20 minutes after the gunman entered Robb Elementary and about an hour before police finally breached the classroom. You can see in one photo an officer with a ballistic shield, another officer with a rifle. Then our partners at the Texas Tribune obtained this photo. It is from roughly 12 minutes later at 12:04 p.m. More officers have entered the hallway, several now armed with rifles. 2, as you can see, have ballistic shields. These newly released photos suggest law enforcement had enough firepower and protection to breach the classrooms 30 minutes to an hour before they actually did so. We will stay on top of these developments and, of course, bring you updates on air and online at KHOU.com. And now to more breaking news. USA Today reporting that Deshaun Watson is reaching settlements with all but 4 of the 24 women who've sued him. The former Texans quarterback is accused of sexual misconduct during massage sessions in 2020 and 2021. Settling the cases also helps him avoid several days of deposition testimony that were scheduled this week. Tony Busby, the lawyer representing the majority of the women, said in a statement in part, "Today I announced that all cases against Deshaun Watson, with the exception of 4, have settled. We are working through the paperwork related to those settlements. Once we do so, those particular cases will be dismissed." Busby went on to say that the terms and amounts of the settlements are confidential, and he will say nothing more about them. Now to an alert from the city of Houston. Officials announcing stage 1 of their drought contingency plan. They do that when there's an observed drop in annual rainfall amounts and higher than normal daily temperatures. That means there are voluntary limits to watering outdoors, the goal to reduce water usage by 5%. So the suggestions: water your lawn twice a week between 7 at night and 5 in the morning. Sunday and Thursday for homes with even-numbered addresses. Saturdays and Wednesdays for homes with odd-numbered addresses. And Tuesday and Friday for everybody else. Again, this is voluntary right now. We'll let you know if anything changes. Air outside, hot and humid, taking a step outside with a live look over the uptown area. Okay, this may surprise a lot of people, but today actually marks the first day of summer, and Tim Pandages, Mother Nature's only getting ramped up.
Oh, I tell you, yesterday we hit 102, a new record high for the day, warmest we've been so far this season. We're going to get hotter.
We're going to get hotter as we go forward. And there's no real rain inside either. So let's talk about that drought condition again. I want to let you know that supply is really not the problem across the Houston area. All the area reservoirs, the status, you can see a percentage full. They are up there, so that's good news. I think that what they're trying to do is get ahead of the increasing drought expansion over the next couple of weeks with no real considerable rainfall in sight. There's our drought report from this past week. Extreme drought is expanding in coverage, and the outlook is for that to persist across the area for the next month, month and a half, potentially. All right, here's radar now. Earlier, we were watching a few very, very small isolated showers and downpours. You can see them mainly drifting off towards the northern Harris County in Montgomery and down south into Brazoria and in the portions of southeastern Fort Bend. The rain chance today is only at 20% again for tomorrow. But if you do catch one of those showers, it'll be that quick, heavy downpour, tropical in nature, and then it moves on quickly. Down to 10% Thursday, and then we're dry as a bone Friday and into the upcoming weekend. All right, here's Future Track here to show you as we go through time. The chance is still there for a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms, just mainly kicked up by that building heat and humidity of the day. Once the sun goes down, all the activity diminishes, and then tomorrow we kind of repeat it all again. Although I think we'll see more in the way of sunshine, so that means air temperatures will be a few degrees hotter as well, and there's that risk by early to mid-afternoon of a few pop-up showers and storms. Today, as we mentioned, is the first day of summer, the summer solstice, also known as the longest day of the year. Yeah, that's today, and then going on from here, we start to lose daylight a little bit by little bit as we go towards the first day of winter back in December. All right, right now we're at 91 at the airport. Dew points are up in the low 70s. It feels like it's 98 though. Although compared to this time yesterday, we were already in the mid 90s, so we are a little bit less hot thanks to a few extra clouds out there. 90 at Conroe, 91 at Tomball, 94 in El Campo, the same in Angleton. And will this heat last much longer? Yes, it really will. As we go through the rest of the month, in fact, the outlook is for above average temperatures through all of the South, and that includes southeast Texas, so no relief really in sight. High temperatures here the next 7 days, triple digits right into the upcoming weekend. In fact, I think we peak at around 103. I mentioned how we were 102 yesterday, blew out an old record from the early 1900s in the Houston area. This ridge that's responsible for all the heat and humidity and the dry conditions isn't really going anywhere. In fact, it slides a little farther west, flattens out a bit, but we are still hot right into the early parts of next week, and really, as you saw, into the end of the month. Out in the tropics, there is no development expected over the next 5 days, so that's the good news. A lot of this is driven by a higher than usual amount of dust in the atmosphere in those areas. Now, water temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico in particular, I want to focus on this because look at the northern Gulf of Mexico. The water temperatures there are off the charts above normal. In fact, they're in the range of 85 to 92 degrees, and this has a big pull on temperatures that we've been seeing along the coast. Galveston in particular, you have to think about water. It holds heat for a longer duration of time, meaning that when water temperatures get in the upper 80s and low 90s, that keeps overnight lows along the coast much warmer than they otherwise would be. As a result, record high lows at Galveston, 12 of them so far this month, and we still got 10 days to go, or 9 days to go. So that's going to likely hoist Galveston up to the hottest June on record, likely. 94 isolated chance of an isolated shower or storm around 1 p.m. We keep that chance to around 5 or so. We'll top out in the upper 90s today. That 7-day forecast, a lot of heat in there, triple-digit heat right through the early parts of next week. And it looks like we're going to peak at around 103 by Sunday afternoon. There is the chance of a boundary coming our way by early next week. Fingers crossed it gets here. Right now, we'll keep it around a 30% chance of an isolated shower storm by Monday. Sherman?
Never thought I'd be hoping for 98 degrees.
Right?
Yeah. Thanks, Tim. Mm-hmm. In LaPorte, officials are investigating what ignited a fire at a chemical plant. Overnight, flames could be seen shooting into the sky from this oxyvinyls plant. This afternoon, Air 11 showing us some of the aftermath there. The plant located on Miller Cutoff Road just north of Highway 225, and that is where our Michelle Choi joins us with the latest.
The Sherman LaPorte Office of Emergency Management issued an all clear for this incident just before 6 this morning. Now, the fire happened at Oxyvinyl's chemical plant, which is located just down the street from where we are. Fortunately, we're told no one was hurt. Take a look. Overnight, flames and heavy smoke could be seen coming from the chemical plant, prompting a big response. In fact, many of you here in the community may have woken up to the emergency sirens and saw the fire, which started around midnight. Now, at the time, officials said they were working a pump fire. Oxyvinyls, as we mentioned, is a chemical plant here in LaPorte that produces a variety of products, including plastics like water supply pipes and medical supplies. This morning, the company sent us a statement saying, in part, the fire was extinguished without further incident. They went on to thank the first responders for their quick response and said they'll be investigating the cause. Meanwhile, we understand anytime there's a plant fire, there's concerns about air quality. Well, the good news is officials told us this morning no gases or chemicals were detected in the air outside the plant's property, later issuing the all clear. Sherman.
And developing this afternoon, Houston police searching for the gunman and motive in a deadly shooting outside of a gas station in southwest Houston. Our Ugo has more on this ambush killing.
Such a scary situation. Houston police say a customer was paying for something inside of this Shell gas station you see behind me. When that customer was walking outside, a car pulls up to a gas pump and shots were fired at him. We're also told by police that someone here tried to help him by shooting at the suspect. As the man was walking back to his car, officers say that's when someone from inside a dark-colored four-door SUV started shooting at the victim. Investigators tell us the shooting happened last night at this gas station off the 6200 block of West Airport Boulevard. HPD says the man shot fell to the ground and the SUV was seen driving off eastbound down West Airport. But the violence didn't stop there.
Later on, circled back, came back, fired more rounds towards our victim that was on the ground. At that point, there was another witness on the scene that was armed and returned fire on that vehicle. That vehicle fled.
Sadly, that man who was shot, HPD says later on died in the hospital. And officers say right now they do not have a shooting suspect in custody. In fact, they're looking for any leads on this. If you know anything, you're asked to call Houston Police right away. Reporting in Southwest Houston, Ugochi Iloka, KHOU 11 News.
COVID-19 vaccines are being rolled out for children as young as 6 months old starting today. A handful of eager Houston families woke up early to be among the first in the country to get their shots at Texas Children's Hospital this morning. Stephanie Whitfield was in the Med Center this morning as those first doses were administered.
Starting at 6 a.m., the first babies and toddlers in Houston got their first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. These 3-year-old twins were third and fourth in line. Gian Vakil is immunocompromised and has undergone 3 open heart surgeries.
He's super high risk, so we've been living in a little bubble. Can't do live normal toddler life. Can't do the things that we want to do, and people don't all understand why. But now he has a little armor, and that helps a lot.
But many Texas parents have passed on getting their kids vaccinated. COVID vaccines have been available to 5 to 11-year-olds since the fall. The CDC says only 25% of school-aged children in Texas are fully vaccinated. Doctors hope parents take advantage of the shot's protection now because they say we're in the middle of a summer surge of both COVID-19 and respiratory syncytial virus.
We are seeing co-infections in children. We don't have a vaccine for RSV, but we finally have a vaccine for COVID for the youngest children, and this will certainly help us deal with these dual viral surges.
These Houston parents were eager and honored for their baby and toddler to go first. 4-year-old George Farrow was born premature at just 26 weeks, so the family has been very cautious about his health since the pandemic began. Now, they're finally comfortable sending him to preschool.
So this is sort of the beginning of a regular childhood, and we're very excited about that.
Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.
And if you're looking to get your child vaccinated or want to read more about the vaccines available, just text the word vaccine to 713-526-1111. We'll send you back several helpful links. And as we said at the beginning of this newscast, the January 6th Capitol riot hearings are now underway. This is the fourth hearing for the committee, and we have a live look from the chambers right now. The panel will focus largely on then President Trump's attempts to overturn state results in Arizona and Georgia in the 2020 presidential election. We will have continuing coverage online and in our later newscasts. Thanks for joining us for 11 News at Noon, the shortened edition here online. We'll be back on air for the 411. Till then.